Have you ever wondered in this industry how the work begins at the grassroots level in animal cell culture lab? Well, to explain that I am here. By the end of this video, you will come to know everything about the topic called cell line. How it's going, people? I'm your host Pallavi and welcome back to my channel Absolute Biopharma. Thank you so much for joining me in this video. I am going to explain everything related to the cell line. So make sure you stick around to the end because I am going to share with you the latest job openings for my freshers and experienced friends. Before understanding what is cell line, one should be aware of two terms called cell proliferation and cell differentiation. What is cell proliferation? A cell proliferation is a process by which a cell grows and divides to produce two daughter cells. It leads to an exponential increase in the cell number and is a rapid mechanism of tissue growth. Now comes cellular differentiation. Cellular differentiation is a process in which a cell changes from one cell type to another. Usually cell changes to a more specialized cell. As you can see in the figure, a stem cell is there that will give rise to muscle cell or sex cell, fat cell, bone cell, immune cell, blood cell or nerve cell. A culture derived either by the outgrowth of migrating cells from a fragment of tissue or by enzymatic or mechanical dispersal of the tissue is primary culture. The primary culture is the first in a series of selective processes that may ultimately give rise to a relatively uniform cell line. Here is a figure explaining the primary cell culture. From the tissue, cells are isolated enzymatically or by mechanical means. They are allowed to proliferate and after their first subculture or passaging, they will get converted into primary culture. Now comes our topic, that is cell line. After the first subculture or passage, the primary culture becomes known as a cell line or may be propagated and subcultured. With each successive subculture, component of the population with the ability to proliferate most rapidly will gradually predominate and non-proliferating or slowly proliferating cells will be diluted out. Let us see the types of cell line. First is finite cell line. In finite cell line, normal cells can divide a limited number of times. Hence, the cell line derived from normal tissue will die out after a fixed number of population doubling, thus called finite cell line. Next comes continuous cell line. The ability of the cell to grow continuously gives rise to continuous cell line. The alteration in the culture that gives rise to continuous cell line is called transformation, may occur spontaneously or be chemically or virally induced. Here, transformation refers to alteration in the growth characteristics like anchorage dependence, loss of contact inhibition, density limitation of growth. Here is a graph representing the evolution of a cell line. In the x-axis there is a time, in y-axis there is total cell numbers on the log scale. If you see in the graph, the culture starts from the primary cell culture. Subsequent subcultures, the cell line get converted into continuous cell line through the process of transformation. Before transformation, the subsequent subcultures are finite cell line and after transformation, it will get converted into continuous cell line and the population that won't survive will lead to senescence or cell death. So in this graph, after 14th week, culture get transformed into continuous cell line. Let us see some of the properties of a cell line. First property is transformation. It is broadly referred to as the change in the phenotype of a cell due to genetic material. So in finite cell line, the transformation is normal. In infinite cell line, the transformation can be immortal, growth control altered or tumorigenic. Next is anchorage dependency. Anchorage dependency is the increase in proliferation which is seen when the cells are allowed to attach to a solid surface. So in finite cell line, the anchorage dependency is there, but in infinite cell line, there is no anchorage dependency. Third property is contact inhibition. Contact inhibition is a regulatory mechanism that functions to keep cells growing into a layer one cell thick, that is monolayer. So in finite cell line, the contact inhibition is present, but in infinite cell line, the contact inhibition is absent. If we see the density, in finite cell line, the density is there, that is high, and in infinite cell line the density is reduced or almost lost. Now comes the mode of growth. It is a monolayer in infinite cell line, that means a layer of cells in which no cell is growing on the top of another, but all will grow side by side and often touching each other on the same growth surface. Whereas in continuous cell line, the growth can be monolayer or suspension, that is, the cell can grow in multiple layers or can grow freely in liquid media in suspended condition. Maintenance of finite cell line. In finite cell line, it is cyclic, that means after defined interval of time, subculturing is required, whereas in continuous cell line, the passaging or subculturing can be followed at a steady state. If we see the serum requirement, in finite cell line, the serum requirement is high, whereas in infinite cell line, the serum requirement is low or almost nil. Growth rate in finite cell line is slow, that is, the doubling time is from 24 to 96 hours, whereas for continuous cell line, the doubling time is rapid, that is 12 to 24 hours. If we see the yield, in finite cell line, the yield is very low. In infinite cell line, the yield is high. Let us see some of the commonly used cell line and their applications in biopharma industry. First is MRC5 and MRC9. It stands for Medical Research Council Strain 5. Cell culture composed of fibroblasts developed by human lung tissue. It is used to produce several vaccines including hepatitis A and polio. For MRC9 also, it stands for Medical Research Council Strain 9. The cell culture composed of fibroblasts developed from human lung tissue, and it also has its applications in vaccine production. Next comes BHK21 cell line. It stands for baby hamster kidney fibroblasts. These are adherent cell lines derived from 1-day-old hamster kidney. This cell line is useful for transformation, for stable and temporary transfections, and to study viral infections. Next is CHO cell line. It stands for Chinese hamster ovary cells, that are epithelial cell line derived from ovary of Chinese hamster. These are the most common mammalian cell line used for mass production of therapeutic protein production. Next, Vero cell line. These cells are isolated from the kidney epithelial cells extracted from African green monkey. These cells are used for screening for toxins of E. coli, used as host cells for growing viruses, to measure replication in presence or absence of research pharmaceuticals, used as host cell for eukaryotic parasites. HeLa cell line. It is an immortal cell line and most commonly used human cell line derived from cervical cancer cells. These cells were used to test first polio vaccine, used in testing how parvovirus infects cells of humans, dogs and cats. It is used in number of cancer studies. So let us sum up the examples of the cell line. First, we saw the finite cell lines that are derived from normal tissues, MRC5 and MRC9, that are fibroblast in morphology, that are derived from human lungs. Next comes the continuous cell line that are derived from normal tissue. They are BHK21, CHO cell line, Vero cell line. BHK cell line is fibroblast in nature. CHO cell line and Vero cell line are epithelial. BHK derived from baby hamster kidney, whereas CHO cell line is derived from Chinese hamster ovary. Vero cell line is derived from kidney of a monkey. Now, continuous cell line that is derived from neoplastic tissue. Neoplastic tissue is a tissue that is having abnormal growth of cells known as tumor. So, the HeLa cell line is epithelial in nature, that is derived from the cervix of a human female. So, that's all in this video, and as I promised to share with you the latest job openings in the biopharma, here they are. So, first is Research Associate or Senior Research Associate, that is GVK Biosciences. They are asking for 1 to 7 years of experience, HPLC, LCMS. The requirement is organic chemistry or analytical chemistry. Job location is Bangalore. Here I have mentioned the email ID. So if you are satisfying the requirements, then you can mail your resume to the given email ID. Next is QA Qualification Officer, that is Intas Pharmaceuticals. Experience required is 1 to 5 years. MSc, any branch can apply. The location is Ahmedabad, Gujarat. Third is Research Associate or Senior Research Associate, Syngene International. Experience is from 1 to 5 years. M Pharma required. The location is Bangalore. And the last position is scientist, that is from US Pharmacopoeia. Experience required is 1 to 2 years. Requirement is any branch of MSc. The job location is Hyderabad. For the last 3 job openings, you have to go to the website and you have to apply for the required job position. So that's all for this video. So let me know in the comments down below. I would love to hear from you. What are your thoughts on this video? Is it too long? Is it too short? Is the content precise or more description is required? Shall I continue to share with you the latest job opportunities? Make sure you hit the subscribe button because I'm trying to give you the most relevant content from the biopharma world. If you want the detailed description of this video, you can comment down below. I would be happy to share the notes with you. And by the way, don't go anywhere. Make sure you check out my recent videos on resume writing and cleanroom classification. So see you in my next video. Thank you and have a great day.